Like millions of dreamers in the first quarter of the 1900s, Emanuel and Helen Schwartz left their native homeland to seek a brighter future in the United States of America. By the mid-1920s, the Jewish-Hungarian couple lived in New York City's impoverished neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen. Emanuel's father had been an entertainer in Hungary, and Emanuel still clung to aspirations of show business of his own. In the meantime, he worked as a tailor. The couple's first son was born on June 3, 1925. They named him Bernard, but they usually called him Bernie. He changed it to Tony Curtis when he was 23. Their second son, Julius, was born 4 years later. Curtis's memories of his early childhood are not pleasant. His mother was physically abusive and mentally ill, while his father battled periodic depression and struggled to make ends meet. The family moved frequently and once settled as squatters in a boarded-up, abandoned building. Curtis later wrote, "I don't know where my parents met or what led them to their getting married. They weren't the kind of people who coddled you and told you stories, and they didn't want to relive the beginning of a marriage that wasn't happy." The Schwartz family lived in a Hungarian neighborhood and spoke Hungarian at home. Curtis heard Hebrew when he attended synagogue with his father on holidays, so he didn't learn to speak American until he went to school. He was an attractive boy, but being poor and Jewish made him an easy target for incessant ridicule and countless beatings by neighborhood delinquents. After he learned to fight back, he would sometimes go on the offensive before the bullies forced him to defend himself. Curtis didn't do well in school, and he was rebellious while there and skipped out as often as he could. Despite this defiant streak, Curtis loved going to Boy Scouts meetings. At the time, his younger brother Julius was the only person he truly liked. "He was a gentle boy. I trusted him. He trusted me," Curtis wrote. The Schwartz's family's financial situation was so desperate at one point during the Great Depression that when the boys were 10 and 6 years old, they were left at an orphanage temporarily. But before and after that, the family managed to get out of the city for vacations together in the Catskill Mountains. As soon as Curtis was old enough to work, he began selling newspapers on the streets and delivering clothing for his father. He spent every spare penny on movie tickets. "My shoes may have had holes in them, and at home my parents may have been squabbling, but when I was sitting in the movie theater, all of that disappeared," Curtis wrote. His passion for movies sparked his desire to become an actor. He also enjoyed drawing, which grew into a lifelong interest in art. In September 1938, when the Schwartz boys were 13 and 9, Julius was hit by a truck while crossing the street and died the next day. Though Curtis's accounts vary widely on this and other significant events in his lifetime, there is no doubt that his brother's death had a profound impact on him. Curtis had experienced depressive episodes in the past, but they became deeper and more frequent after Julius died. Later that year, Curtis had a bar mitzvah, but the coming-of-age ceremony felt hollow as he only completed the ritual because it was expected. His emotions were still focused on the loss of his little brother. Curtis turned to artwork to escape his dark emotions. He also became increasingly reckless. He had always been physically fit, but he was never interested in organized athletics. Instead, he would jump onto moving trolleys, climb train trestles, and leap from the roof of one building to another. "I figured I was becoming a self-taught movie stuntman, and in fact I was becoming a pretty good athlete. Not because I was dedicated to a sport, but because I was preparing myself for the movies," Curtis wrote.